Welcome back. It is 9:32. You're watching and listening to Breakfast with Keith and Anne on your TV and your radio right across the UK.
Now, to meet somebody very special, Paul Minter is taking on an epic challenge to run the entire coastline of the UK, including Northern Ireland, the Isle of Wight and the Isle of Man.
It's more than 5,000 miles. It's going to take 218 days as part of an attempt to fundraise for his new charity supporting armed forces with their mental health.
He served for 18 years with the Household Cavalry Regiment. This included 5 frontline tours of Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yeah.
Gosh, thank you for your service, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good to have you here, Paul, because it's quite a personal journey that you've been on has been quite horrific, really, in many respects, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've done 18 years in the military, climbed myself all the way up from being a troop up to corporal major. And I've had great times in the military. It's been a great, there's so many great things you can do. But at the same time, towards the end of my time, there are consequences that come from going on the front line and doing certain things and being on the edge all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's in terms of that sort of mental health aspect, I mean, we almost don't look at it enough, do we? Because the things that you have seen and witnessed, and then also the pressure of losing brothers in arms there as well. I mean, it's a hell of a lot for someone to take on board.
Yeah, when you're young and you're kind of in the moment and you're going on these tours, you've got a great support team. You've got tens and hundreds of people around you that support you all the time. You're constantly busy. You're very, very rarely are you given time to sit back and contemplate everything that you've gone through and what you're doing. And sometimes it takes you to leave the military or just have certain things in your life to happen to bring these emotions and feelings back up again. And what people do experience, especially on the front line in the military or when you're away on tours, is you experience trauma day after day after day, and you just don't realise or associate you having trauma at the time. And it's like I say, it's not until later on that it comes to surface and problems occur.
Because you're sort of getting on with the job and you're surrounded by people going through the same thing, I suppose.
Exactly that. And there's a lot of bravado, a lot of masculinity in the military. And like I say, you're young. Most of the time, you're in your 20s, so you're not really thinking about mental health problems. Especially back then. These days, it's spoken about a lot more. But there are a lot of problems at the moment for veterans and serving personnel.
So how did this sort of manifest itself in you? How did you know you were having an issue?
So I came back from my 4th tour in Afghanistan, and I started having these real paranoia problems. I was on the train or the bus or in a restaurant, and I kept thinking everyone was talking about me, everyone was looking at me, but I kept dismissing them, saying it's not true, it's not happening. And it wasn't, and then I started to have all sorts of problems, and yeah, it just manifested from there. I started to become depressed because of the feelings I was getting. I didn't know who to talk to. I was in charge of a group of guys, and they were all looking up to me, so I didn't want to let them down by going to seek help. And I let it boil up until it got very bad.
I mean, what strikes me, I mean, looking at what you're doing now and the money that you're raising for the Heads Up charity, is the fact that you've lost quite a lot of people close to you because of suicide as a result of veterans who've decided to take their own lives. Yeah,
I've lost several close friends now. And it's just unacceptable. Most of them I didn't even know they had problems. They weren't speaking about it. They clearly didn't know where to go to, how to get the help, or didn't want to open themselves up. Since then, I know of 11 either veterans or serving soldiers just last year that committed suicide, and that's just who I know.
11 people you know
that I know, and there's so many more. It's a real problem.
You set up Heads Up. Is that partly because for either serving or veterans, that they need to be able to turn to people who understand exactly what they've been through?
Yeah, there's that. But I went through the process in the military myself, and I'm not saying it's a bad process. It's just not for everyone. And I struggled to go to a doctor. When you go and seek help, you have to do a medical evaluation, and you have to say how bad you are. And if you don't meet a certain criteria, you don't get the help that you probably need. And most people won't admit how bad they are, especially initially. And I just thought that there was a lot missing from it. And all I really wanted to do was someone to show me, okay, this is what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to try and make yourself better. I'm not looking for a victim card or for pity. I want someone to show me how to make myself better. And most military people are like that. And I think that's what's really missing in the charity sector and in the military. And that's what we want to offer in our retreat.
You're a determined bunch, you military lot, and then nothing is more determined than running 5,000 miles. What is it? 191 marathons that you're going to be running consecutively.
Yeah.
My neck.
It's interesting.
Crazy.
But it's interesting, isn't it, that you're turning to physical exercise in a way. I know you want to raise money by doing this, but physical exercise is a very good way of helping heal the mind, is it?
I mean, for me personally, it's when I was going through struggles. One day I was in my room for like 2 months, just laying in bed, not moving. And then I just had an epiphany and needed to get up. And the first thing I did was pick up my running trainers and I went for a 10-mile run. And I changed my life from that day forward. So it has a real impact. You know, it gets you out of the house, it gets you moving, it gets you, you lifting your head up and seeing the world and thinking about it. It's also a great mindfulness tool. So you're in the moment, you're not thinking about the rest of the world. So fitness has a great part to play for mental health.
You kick off on the 1st of March, which is a week on Tuesday. Are you ready? Are you geared up?
I am so ready. So this is the second attempt. So first time, I was 5 days away from about to do the run and the second lockdown happened. Oh. So it's been a long time in the waiting and yeah, I can't wait to start. There are lots of people that want to get involved, lots of people want to join in. We've already raised over £300,000 towards the retreat. So
300